Hey, it's Brad Hutchings from DemoMachine.net. Hopefully you've seen our Demo Machine platform announcement video. It's driven by a guide file for our guide software, which is an important piece of the platform. It puts an automated demo guide inside the demo environment. This keeps demos self-contained, so more portable for deployment, and makes the automation better and easier than driving it from outside. It also makes demos customizable. Try being an SE who wants to rewrite the demo flow a little bit in your favorite cloud demo environment. Here's our source folder for our guide from that demonstration. Let's look at the PowerPoint first. I'm opening these in the demo environment with OpenOffice. These slides should look familiar to you. Great guides start with great slides. Intermix some automation and you're gold. We have a script that converts an exported folder of slides into a starter guide. We also have a script that converts your guide source into a single guide file. Let's run that. All right, here's our guide file. I have this shortcutted on the desktop here, so we can open this in a minute. But let's open the source for this guide. I have it preloaded into Visual Studio Code. You'll see that the main index file is a YAML file. If you're really familiar with YAML, you'll see that this file is broken up into documents. --, .. Those are your document delimiters. Each document is a page in our guide. Let's hide this. Let's launch the guide. The first page is a slide. Let's go back here. Slide media, slides, slide 1, PNG. Second page is also a slide. That's our Lexis page. The third page is a slide, but it's an MP4, it's a video, and we have an autoplay. Fourth page is a slide. Fifth page is a slide. Let's go look at those in the guide. Now, you'll notice I have controls here to navigate between the pages. They automatically disappear, and I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard. Right arrow. It's right arrow. Next slide. Next slide. All right, now we've got a guide window. Let's look at how that works. On this window, we're going to launch the Demos app. We have tasks. Our first task, it has a title, Launch the Demos app window. That's in bold. We have instructions. That's down here. And then we have an auto-it script, and that's what runs when we click this button. So let me hide this, and we'll launch the Demos app. And it launches Demos app, and it positions the window. Let's go back here. Opening the starting points folder, this is the same kind of thing. It runs an auto-it script, which opens up the window and then positions it under that demos window. So let's see that in action. We'll go on to the next page. And let's go back to our source. Import a demo. So the first thing we're going to do is review the demo file. This is actually presenter automation. The button doesn't do anything. I'm supposed to click the button when I've done it. So we're going to review the demo file, and then we're going to import it by double-clicking that file. So let's go ahead and do these. It's telling me to review this file. Note that it's 27 gigabytes. And then I'll click I see. Next we go on to this step, import the demo. Now I already have the demo imported, and the reason is, I'll tell you in a minute. But I'm going to import it again. I'll double click that. I'm going to shorten this sequence because it takes a few minutes. You'll see that it's preparing the demo ConGPT1. It comes up with a unique name, so we can have multiple copies of a particular demo in the Demos app. In the original video, I actually did some prep on ConGPT after importing it, sort of some first run prep to just make it work a little easier. I'm not going to do that for you here. In the next step, I'll actually start ConGPT. So that's what we're going to do, start the demo. Let's go look at our source a minute. And this again is another presenter automation. We click, I did it. ConGPT, I'll hit start. I'm going to speed up this as well. It turns out we have to wait a couple minutes after the desktop shows for the GPT to start up and be responsive in Chrome. So I cut that out of the demo as well. Let's look at this next step, launch Chrome browser in the demo. Instructions. This actually gets sent to a remote guide, ConGPT. That is this window right here that's listening for guide commands for it to run. What it's going to do is it's going to run start process Chrome with this argument list, which is HTTP GPT 8001. After waiting a couple minutes, we're ready to launch Chrome. Let me click this. You can see it's doing something here. And it opened up our private GPT. Type the prompt. This is actually a little bit more complicated than it looks. Let's go look at it. It's going to use remote guide, so it's sending the command here. The command is a send keys raw. These are auto-it keys. We're going to tab over to this control LLM chat and then use the space bar to click it. And then we're going to tab back to the type of message field. That's what that whole sequence is doing. Let me show you it again. So we've got a bunch of tabs, bunch of shift tabs to get back there. We hit space to select it, a bunch of tabs to get back. And then we type our prompt. Send keys delay milliseconds. This is 50 milliseconds between each key that's sent. And send keys new line delay milliseconds. This is 100 milliseconds at the end of each of these lines. Let's do this. You can see it selected LLM chat. Now it's typing the prompt. At this point, I would hide this. And I would hide this so that you can see what it types. It's actually pretty snappy for being 3 levels deep, nested Hyper-V on my laptop. Every time you do one of these, it'll come up with a little bit different result. And some of them are pretty amazing, and some of them are maybe a little less amazing, but this one's pretty good. Back to the guide. Our next step is to close this window, this remote desktop connection. Let me show you what that looks like. This is actually an auto-it script, and we use WinClose demos ConGPT. Well, let's do that. We get a warning. We need to dismiss this. Let me show you this script. This is a send keys raw script. We simply send the enter key to dismiss that dialog. So let's do that. And that will close the window. When this Demos app detects that the window's closed, it will stop the demo. It's then going to roll back the demo to its original configuration. And we'll see that it stopped in a moment in the status here. All right, we have some more slides. Let's look at our slides. We've got 3 slides, and then we've got a little more automation. So let's go through the slides. I'll use my arrow keys to navigate through these. And now we're back at the starting points. What I want to do here is I want to expand that starting points window so we can see all the things that are in it. So I've got an auto-it script that does that. Let's do that. Expand. You can see it made that tall. The next step is review the starting points. So this is where I went through each of these starting points and told you what they did. Let's go back to our guide source. Yeah, that's a do-it-yourself automation. One thing you may notice here, we have different types of automation, including human automation, presenter automation. Lots of people, when they talk about automation, think everything is code. Everything has to be done in code. Human steps are manual steps to be done afterward. In actuality, when we're dealing with demo labs, whether it's building them, whether it's doing demos, any activity with them, it's really a mixture of these things. That some things we know how to write code for, and some things we don't. And they don't happen in an order where all the things we don't know how to write code for come after all the things that we do. That's a big mistake in both building demos and presenting demos, is having that mindset that automation comes before manual steps. Additionally, having the mindset that manual steps need to go away. Manual steps are important. They actually save you a lot of work for things that are difficult to automate or break often. End of that rant. I reviewed the starting points. I did it. And you'll see that the rest of this is just slides. So let's go through that. Here's a slide. Here's a slide. Here's a slide. And here's a slide that actually looks like it's supposed to, not like OpenOffice butchered it. All right, so thank you very much. This has been a little tour of behind the scenes, what the guide looks like for the demo machine platform announcement that we did. Hope you enjoyed.